Chiefs win the Super Bowl.
Chiefs win. Cry, Eagles, cry.
Great, excited to be back another week.
You know, every day I got the Three Stooges in the studio with me is a good fucking day.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
So let's make sure he gets that bag.
Frauds, Price! Woo!
Justin's way ahead in picks. That's all that you need to fucking know.
Show's over.
Show's over. We're going home. I would like to welcome you back to another page of the Playbook Sports Podcast.
Let's go ahead and turn to why we are all here today. The NFL draft in about 48 hours will kick off with Carolina at pick number 1. Colin, the randomizer loves giving you early picks in our mock drafts. It's really upsetting because I always pick last. But you are on the clock right now with Carolina at pick number 1. I want to treat this mock draft not as a predictor of what we think is going to happen. We're the GMs of these teams right now. So if you trade up with your team. So like, for example, say I trade up from pick 20 to pick 17 or something. I am now picking at 17, even though I just picked at 16 and you're dropping back with your teams.
Right. Okay.
So your teams that you have right now are your teams. And we're drafting as if we're the GMs and our jobs are on the line. This is on us. And then we'll do maybe a predictive one before the actual draft. But Colin, pick number 1, Carolina. Where are you going?
Well, surprisingly, I'm not going to trade this pick.
Yeah, well, I would hope not. Call Chicago and say, I want my picks back. And Chicago hangs up the phone immediately.
It was always
and says, "Fuck
Vontae
off."
Mack.
It's always Vontae.
Obviously, here Carolina goes quarterback. I think out of Kentucky. No, I'm kidding.
He's telling me.
Fired. Immediately fired on the spot.
No, it's Alabama quarterback Bryce Young, number 1. If I was the GM of the Carolina Panthers, Bryce Young, quarterback, Alabama.
That has to be the pick,
Yeah.
right? I don't know where this Reddit post got that Will Levis is telling family I'm going at 1. Bullshit. There's no shot that any world that he goes at number 1. There's just not.
I better hope that
he
GM doesn't change his mind last second.
Right.
Yeah.
And you look like an idiot.
If he does, that theater is going to be cracking.
Oh
up.
my God.
There's going to be a little bit of booze from the
Yep.
tennis
From the Carolina
fans.
fans, and then everyone else is going to be just high-fiving and cackling at that.
Sucker.
Yes. Pick 2, Sage, Houston. This has been a lot more hotly talked about recently because a lot of news has come out about pick number 2. Where are you going with pick number 2? What's your thought?
Yeah, so my thought process right now is we can only go up from here. You know, we're at the pick 2.
Mm-hmm.
We're not going to get this pick again next year, so we got to get a quarterback.
Right, because they'll probably be picking at number 1. I was kidding.
So I'm rolling with Ohio quarterback CJ Stroud.
CJ
Give him to me. We need someone to immediately lift up this offense, you know, and there's only one person that can do that.
Mm-hmm.
Will Levis is too much of a project. We don't have the staff to really deal with the project. Anthony Richardson is too much of a hit or miss player. We need someone that can go in there and just deliver balls.
Yeah.
You know,
You're not worried about his S2 score?
What's up?
Are you worried at all about his S2 score being 18?
I'm not.
No? Okay.
I
See,
did see somewhere that those numbers were
Could be fake.
fabricated.
Yeah, they
a
might be
little bit.
false. Also, you just like, I'd rather watch tape and see what I see on tape of him and be like, yeah, he's really good. And then someone comes out and says, oh, but his S2 score is really bad. That doesn't change what I saw on tape.
I'll say at the
It
end of the
doesn't
day,
change the talent
the
level.
best defense he faced, Georgia, you
Lit 'em
think
up,
that would probably be
right.
the hardest game to process things quickly, right? And he had a
And he
best
crushed
game
him.
of the season.
Lit
Yeah,
him
I'd
up.
probably focus on that game.
Yeah.
It's funny to knock on him and ask him, you know, can you do a math of 2 + 2, so on and so forth. But the guy showed out.
Yeah.
You know, and he's very, very good.
I also
He's gonna
think
be-
now they need a quarterback more than ever just because this is the time to develop one. You know, if you wait till next year, you're letting those teams that are right now shit a year to get better.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Plus,
if you let him play on easy mode for a second in the division,
right.
Get
And
Steve.
Houston they're not, when was the last time Houston had the number 1 overall pick? Jadeveon Clowney was, I think, their last number 1 overall pick. Like, they've been terrible for a while and they just can't get the number 1 overall pick.
Yeah.
They just can't do it. So if you're hoping to get Caleb Williams next year and get pick number 1, you can't do it because you've not been able to. Like,
Yep.
what makes you think you're going to be
And
able
at
to
the
suck
end of the day,
that bad?
Stroud's just getting the field treatment. He was the number
Right,
2
right.
quarterback all
Dropping
year. He's going to
because-
drop. And is
yeah.
it going to be in 2 years now? Oh my gosh. Can't
How
believe
did
the
he
team at
rank to
11
12?
got
How did
CJ
he go to
Stroud.
Tennessee at 11?
Yeah, how did he go here when he was the number 2 quarterback the whole time?
Mm-hmm.
I like CJ Stroud.
Me too. I've got Stroud as one of my top players in the draft still. So that puts Arizona on the board at 3. And as the Colts at 4, I'm calling you and trying to move up one spot. because I'm worried you're going to deal it to someone else at number 7, like Vegas moves up for a QB. But I would offer up first this year and probably a third this year as well, just to move up one spot and take the quarterback you probably wouldn't take. But that's my offer. Pick number 4 and the Colts' 3rd round pick, which is what, going to be 66, 67. So I'm giving up a little surplus value according to the trade chart. It's close. It's a decent deal to move up one spot. And I'd be willing to be talked into like a future 2 if you wanted that instead of a 3.
I'll take the deal.
You take the deal first and a third this year? First and a third? Okay, so then I move up with Indy to 3 and I take Anthony Richardson. It's this year for me, and we were joking about the movie Draft Day, and I think it's a terrible movie when it comes to some of the trades because it's very unrealistic.
Oh yeah.
But if I'm writing down Anthony Richardson no matter what, not Vontae Mack. I think Anthony Richardson has all of the intangibles to be an absolute monster. And is he going to be great year 1? No, maybe not. Maybe he takes some time to figure it out, but the athleticism on him is unheard of. It's genuinely unheard of. And he's got a cannon of an arm. I just am a believer. I'm an Anthony Richardson guy, definitely over Will Levis. I'm not moving up for Will Levis. I don't believe in Will Levis personally, but I'm taking Anthony Richardson at pick number 3, which then puts Addison on the board with Arizona at 4. If he doesn't want to trade down.
Well, with number 4 Arizona, after already having traded down once, got a little bit of capital as well. Not really losing out of pick, like you said. They're not going to be drafting quarterback here yet. Maybe a little bit too early. Maybe they should, but they're not going to. Yeah. But I'm actually going to go defensive end. Texas Tech.
Yeah.
Tyree Wilson. I'm taking 6'6", 86-inch wingspan.
He's a freak
275. I think Will Anderson is damn good, but I'm going to go Tyree Wilson. Woo! Go on the potential, the fact that he's going to be great.
Yeah.
But is he going to be an all-time great? Or will Will Anderson be an all-time great? And I'll take the guy at 6'6", again, 86, 7'2" wingspan, absolute power on the edge. Give me Tyree Wilson.
Okay. Wow. Kind of a shocker. I like that. I think that a lot of people are talking about Tyree Wilson as being as good as, if not better, than Anderson Jr. He's more projectable.
Yeah.
And Arizona can afford to take a project because they're not going to win next year. So you're getting a thing that could be insane in a couple of years. I don't hate that. But that puts Colin in an interesting spot at pick number 5 because you might have had Tyree Wilson in there, but now you're like, hold on, you got someone else on the board.
I am going to sprint to that podium and draft Will Anderson, edge from Alabama.
Yep.
We talked about it. If there's almost, I don't want to say a surefire thing coming into the league, I think Will Anderson is it for this draft.
Yeah.
I think he's the best plug and play player there is concern about his get off speed, but I'm not worried about it. We saw it at Alabama at least 2 years ago. He should have been in the highest. He should have been a Heisman finalist with Bryce Young. Give me Will Anderson at 5 to Seattle.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. Bryce Young's going 1, but Will Levis is plus 650 now to go 1.
And it was like what, plus several thousand earlier today.
He's
People
also the
buying-
favorite to go 2.
Yeah, no, that's crazy, man.
We'll see.
I don't know what they're seeing.
He's
but
going 1, man. I'm going to the bridge.
if he goes 1, oh my God.
We're not making it home on that drive.
No, we're not.
No.
No, we're staying multiple days.
Yeah, Will Anderson though for the Seahawks. Used to love that.
Yeah, that's a great pick.
It's those two picks.
Yes,
back
Wilson or
One of
Anderson,
them,
whichever
I
one is
think
there.
Tyree, they just might fall in love again. It might fall in love. Oh my God.
He just might.
86-inch wingspan.
Explosion.
6'6".
Oh man.
He's got a long 6'6".
Long
86
6'6".
wingspan.
Sage, you're on the clock. 6 with your Detroit Lions.
All right. I mean, you guys made this pick too easy. We were talking about this guy going number 1 overall for a long time when the Bears had it. But here we go, dropping all the way to number 6 for the Detroit Lions. We're getting Jalen Carter, D lineman. This man wreaks havoc anywhere on the line he is. And I was tempted to go Witherspoon. I was tempted to go Gonzalez. But with all the moves that they've already made in free agency, those places are shored up. It's looking really good. So let's just build that line. Let's let our secondary swarm and let's move.
Yeah. Okay. I think that the talent of Jalen Carter is obvious. I have been like originally I didn't really care that he showed up to his pro day overweight, and then I started thinking about it more, and I didn't like that
No.
because you only have
Not a
one
good
pro
look.
day.
Not a good look.
You have like this is it. This is you didn't go to the
What
combine.
kills me is that he gassed the pro day,
Right.
the weather controlled
Right.
belt. That's what kills
He
me,
was
man.
white.
If you're in Miami when the sun's beating down
Good
and they
luck,
got this,
120
yeah, exactly,
degrees
and
on
they
your
built the
sideline.
stadium to be
Yep.
hot
To
for
be
the
hot.
opponent,
Good
See,
luck
and you can only go in every other 6 plays now because you're gassed.
because you're wiped.
See, I get that. I get that. But when you think of who's going to be coaching him,
That's
True.
damn true.
It's very
That
true.
is damn true.
And Detroit's a
I
dome.
feel like that's a man that can
That's
get through.
true. I'll say that's the one thing I think. Does he love it? Does he want to be like?
Right? Does he care?
Does he want to be Aaron Donald? Good.
Like,
He's
how do you show up to your pro day overweight and out of shape, man? Like, that's your chance right
He
here
knows
to
he's
show
gonna get a
these guys.
bag regardless.
And you know that
but-
people are gonna watch you. Like, this is your chance to show off. And he just was like, I really don't care, man.
And
It's
10
like,
years from now. And why were there questions about Jalen Carter?
Jalen Carter, surefire Hall of
Yeah,
Famer.
it's like, oh damn it.
We're like
It's
idiots.
like,
4-time Super Bowl.
Yeah,
champion.
yeah, like the shade.
First defensive MVP
Best
in
pick,
NFL
best
history.
pick of all time. It's like, oh my god.
Pick 7, Addison, Vegas on
Well,
the
this
clock.
team is grinning with how this draft has played out. They don't have to move. They see some defensive talent go in front of them.
Mhm.
They see some quarterbacks go in front of them, and they go, man, this guy can come learn this really elaborate system that obviously needs 2 years to develop.
Mhm.
Give me Levis.
Maybe.
Give me a man that takes mayonnaise in his coffee and eats
Ooh.
bananas whole. Well, Levis.
Gross. What a psychopath. Like, that's psychopathic behavior.
Yeah.
Just
Mhm.
straight up.
Mhm.
That's
100%.
insanity. That's
I would not
actually
trust
insanity.
my drink around him.
No. No, I was
No.
gonna throw something in it.
Yeah.
See, I had him on my board somewhere. I gotta cross him off here. Pick number 8. I know Atlanta. So Atlanta's on the board, and I know the fan base for Atlanta based on Twitter wants Bijan Robinson here. Like, they're begging for Bijan Robinson here. I just can't do it with Devin Witherspoon still on the board. The opportunity to pair him up with AJ Terrell is disturbing, especially when they get to feast on the quarterbacks of that division. I mean, they're going to make 74-year-old Desmond Ridder that much better playing him in practice every day. Yeah, good luck throwing against first team defense, buddy. AJ Terrell's locked on one side, Devin Witherspoon the other. If Devin Witherspoon is off the board here, if whatever Vegas does, I don't know, but I just can't ignore Witherspoon. He's my 4th ranked player in the draft for a reason. I've got to take him off the board here and just pair him up with AJ Terrell for years to come. And then that puts Colin on the clock. Pick number 9.
Pick
Chicago.
number 9, Devin Witherspoon with 8 cornerback.
Mhm.
Pick number 9, Chicago. I've gone back and forth. We've done 2 mock drafts. We did one, or I've participated in 2 mock drafts. We did one where we went first 16 picks, all of us,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and we did one where it was just myself. And I went back and forth, 2 different offensive linemen. That's obviously where I'm going here, shocker.
Yep, has to be.
And I'm going to go with the guy I took in our first initial snake we did as a whole. I'm going to take Peter Skoronski here to the
Skoronski.
Bears.
Nice.
I've went back and forth with him and Paris Johnson Jr. But just looking at it, the more and more I think about it, I do think he's the most pro ready right this minute, plug and play. Whether you want to play him a tackle or guard, I don't care.
I think he's Zach Martin if you move to guard.
He's so good.
I think he's Zach Martin.
I
said that in
think
my
the
hot
Bears
takes
fall in
video.
love with the local kid.
So
It's
you
I-
buy in
yeah,
on
okay
the
with that.
Steelers trying to trade up?
I am hearing that. I just don't know if they
trade
move
for
up
that
to
tackle.
9. I could see him moving up. I could see him.
somewhere.
I've seen them connected to the Bears. I think I saw Tennessee even as 11. They're
I
trying
could
to
see him
get
calling
in
the
there.
Eagles right here. I could see.
Oh
this
yeah, they're
trade
definitely
down.
trying to move up. Yeah, I'll say it.
I could see that.
Steelers need a corner or an offensive lineman, man, and they see 2 corners going, an offensive lineman, and then Philly on the clock here. Sage at 10. What are you doing?
Oh, you're not ready.
Oh, I'm ready.
Boy.
Because this is a luxury pick.
Yes, it is, and I know where you're going.
I don't need much here. I don't need to fill a hole. I might as well have some fun with this pick.
Yep, do it.
And we got the best running back prospects and
Oh, sure.
Saquon Barkley here
Yep, it
at
has to be.
10.
It's always Bijan.
Give me Bijan Robinson.
That is honestly disturbing, and I hate that for the rest of the NFL, man.
Yeah,
not fair.
it's gonna be fucking disgusting.
Ugh, God.
Disgusting to think about. But if you're a Philly fan, your mouth is watering at
Yep.
that on those option plays. Dude can catch it out of the backfield, run out of that backfield. He can block out like anywhere. He's fantastic.
Like, if there's a weak spot on the Philadelphia roster right now, it's running back.
Yeah.
You can't go into the season with Kent Gainwell and Boston Scott and expect that to work. Oh, Bijan Robinson, the best running back prospect since Saquon Barkley is on the board at 10. Go for it. And it's a luxury pick. Like,
Yep.
it's a free pick from the Saints. Thanks, New Orleans.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So-
I love that pick.
Yeah, they could reload, and they probably will later on. Who knows what happens later on in this draft? But right now, when you just have a free pick, have some fun with it.
Yeah,
Take the best player available.
I had that in my mock draft. I love that. I think Bijan DePhilly is terrifying for the rest of the NFL.
Atlanta, don't let it happen, please.
Yeah, you really want Atlanta to take him at 8 there.
Don't let that happen.
Addison, Tennessee on the clock at pick 11.
Tennessee a little bit disappointed. A quarterback didn't fall, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
But we're gonna head and run to the podium with this pick as well. Grinning Christian Gonzalez,
Yeah, I love
cornerback
that.
from Oregon. Hopefully he can be Caleb Farley, but actually damn good. Got all the intangibles for a corner, size, speed, can defend deep. I mean, he's right there with Witherspoon for best corner in the draft. I mean, 1A,
Yeah.
1B.
Yeah.
And Tennessee needs help in the secondary bad. They need help a lot of places, and they're going to address a big need, get a corner. Christian Gonzalez.
Yeah, I love that pick. Who has the Steelers pick? Colin, don't you have the Steelers at 17?
I think it's you. Yeah, I do.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
do.
you do.
See, this is where if I'm Houston and if Pittsburgh wants to trade up to get an offensive lineman, I'm calling them. I don't know if you have any interest in trading up at all with Houston, but if you do, I'm all ears, and I would be calling an offering pick 12.
Yeah. Let's
Yeah.
go ahead and get that done. I don't know what compensation as well. Let's see 5 picks. I'd be moving up.
17, yeah,
4
so you
picks.
go from it's a 1,200 value to 950. So like you're not the Bears second round pick that you have, but maybe the Steelers second round pick in the late 40s, like pick 40, whatever it is. I would do that your first and second to move up.
Yeah, let's go ahead and do that just because I think the Steelers are in panic mode.
I think
they
so, I
do
think
need
so.
a tackle.
Yeah.
So that's obviously they see a stretch
And
of
they
teams
have it
coming
still
up.
32 as well. you know,
Right.
and They have
Right.
So they can
32.
trade up and get maybe their best offensive lineman in the draft, whichever one they like the most.
Yeah, you see teams like Green Bay who has aging tackles. You see a team like New England who has no tackles. You see a team like the Jets who need a tackle.
Mm-hmm.
So
Like
I could
you have
see
to
that
jump
move.
them.
I could see that move as well for Pittsburgh. I like that idea. And here with 12, the Pittsburgh Steelers will take Paris Johnson Jr.
Yep.
out of Ohio State. I think physically he might be the biggest tackle in this draft.
Yeah,
One of
him or DeJuan Jones out of
Yeah.
Ohio State.
Right.
He's like 6'8".
the Ohio State boys, as I throw my kids up. The Ohio State boys are big old hogs up front.
Mm-hmm.
And if the Steelers are gonna move up to get their guy, I think this is the guy they go get, him or the Georgia boy, one of the two.
Yeah,
Roger
and
Jones.
like you said, you've got to jump those other, like the Jets are probably
I mean, yeah,
bombs
you have
right
3 teams there that might
Right.
be taking
Yeah.
a tackle. So then I guess it puts me back on
back on the
clock
clock
with
with Green Bay. Uh-huh.
And this was tough for me because thinking about Green Bay right now, they obviously have a couple of holes defensively, but I think they go with their biggest hole offensively and give their first year starting quarterback help at the tight end position. I've gone back and forth with who I think is the best pass catching tight end in this draft versus who is the best overall tight end of this draft.
Mhm.
And I'm going to take the best overall tight end in this draft. I'm going to take Michael Mayer
Mayer.
here to Green Bay and shore up that offense as far as weapons go.
Yeah, I think we're just all tired of talking about Michael Mayer, and we've let Dalton Kincaid climb up these boards as we got closer to the draft. I do think Michael Mayer has just been that guy. He's been one of the best tight ends in college football the last several seasons. He's a stud. I like that pick for Green Bay a lot.
Best case scenario, you're getting Kittle.
Right.
You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Right.
Like, really,
That's what you're looking to
best
get
case
there.
scenario
Yeah.
is Kittle.
He's a George Kittle type.
I mean, all he did is break every Notre Dame record as far as tight ends go for
Yeah.
receiving.
Right.
Physical monster.
Yeah, just a
So,
freak. So then Sage, that puts you on the clock at pick number 14 with the New England Patriots.
All right. Oh, hold up. Pulling it up. All right. These New England Patriots. God, they have a lot of fucking needs, and you just sniped me.
They have a lot of needs.
I know, that's kind of scary.
I have a bet on them taking the offensive lineman. I placed it a long time ago.
I know. All right.
Those bets for the
They're
draft.
Right here with these New England Patriots, I got them taking offensive tackle. I'm looking at 3 of them right now.
Okay.
Crazy.
That would be insane. Trade down again and take him. Yeah.
Oh,
It's tough, man. It's a tough pick.
I know it's Darnell Wright.
Darnell,
I
right.
actually love that.
Yeah.
Darnell Wright.
Dude, I've seen him as high as the Bears.
Everyone else, I think is probably technically more sound. This man just has a motor on him.
For the Patriots.
Number 1 rated player in his high school class.
He
Insane.
was.
The lineman. Yeah, he was insane coming out.
Yeah, so I love watching him go there. I think he's going to make an impact. I don't know how much of an impact that's going to be.
Trying to get by Darnold right all game.
Forget about that, man. Just actually ran.
It's like, man, I just failed my
Just
physics
failed my
test,
physics
man.
test, and now I gotta go try and get past Darnell right.
Like, yeah.
Fucking right.
No, I was looking at some third round offensive guards to take right here, but
Yeah, there
that-
you go. That makes sense. Yeah.
thought I'd grab Darnell
Cody
right
Moss.
We're
here.
drafting Osiris Torrance at fucking
Oh my
14.
gosh.
But that wouldn't be like an awful
wouldn't hate
stretch.
that.
It's not a
No,
whole
no,
stretch.
it's
No,
not.
full
no,
strange
it's
type
not.
stretch.
It's
Like
not.
he's a 5th rounder.
You have Sean McVay cracking up. Yeah, we scouted him for the 5th round.
Yeah.
Thought maybe we get him at like 170.
Late in the draft, and he goes in the 1st round. Hilarious. Addison, New York
Yeah,
Jets.
that was a
on the
definite
clock.
misclick.
Yeah, well,
Full
that was
strange.
bad.
Well, New York Jets is obviously got Aaron Rodgers in the town. Big that they kept 15 in my mind. We obviously
Yeah,
talked
huge,
about that.
huge.
I'm gonna go with Broderick Jones from Georgia.
that. They
Get a
need
tackle, try to help Rodgers stay up as much as he can. Might not be the best prospect, like technically, but he's a freak of nature athletically, and he's got a big frame. So give me Broderick Jones, take one of those tackle spots in New York.
Yeah, I like that a lot. They need it. They need an offensive
Yeah,
lineman
they do that.
desperately. They just lost Dwayne Brown. Mekhi Becton is not the
Yeah.
Mekhi Becton we thought he was going to be. Like they need offensive line. Like Elijah Vera Tucker can't play all 5 offensive line
No,
positions,
he
guys. Got to get someone else in here. But so Broderick Jones falling to them is great. And that leaves me at Washington to take the last of the top tier corners. And I go Joey Porter Jr. Goes to the Commanders at 16. They need a corner desperately. The offensive weapons are fine. There's not really an offensive lineman you want at 16 with a little run on tackles here, 3 of the last 4 picks. So then you're kind of going, okay, what are we looking at? Our defense sucked. We need better corners. I like Joey Porter Jr. there a lot. And then I'm back on the clock with Houston at 17, who gets the guy they were going to take at 12. And I'm going to go ahead. You took CJ Stroud at pick number 2. I'm going to get him his boy. I'm going to get Jackson Smith and Jigba at 17. You pick up an extra 2nd round pick in moving down, and you still get your best receiver on the board. I honestly think he's going to have, if he stays healthy next year, I think he gets 100 catches out of the slot. I think he catches 100 balls from CJ Stroud, just underneath quick shit, because their offensive line is not going to be any good outside of Laramie Tunsil. They're going to have to, he's going to catch a ton of passes. I mean, on a team with Chris Olave and Garrett Wilson and Marvin Harrison Jr., like he was the best receiver. I mean, Brian Hartline, the wide receivers coach, just come out and said he's the 2nd best receiver I've ever coached behind Marvin Harrison Jr., which, first of all, crazy for Marvin Harrison Jr. next year. But I'll go JSN at 17 to Houston. So that puts Sage back. You're on the clock at pick number 18 with your Detroit Lions.
Yeah, and honestly, I'm surprised he fucking fell. I'm double dipping into the D-line pool. I'm grabbing Murphy.
Okay, I like
That's a
that.
good pick.
Yeah, I like that.
I think with Hutchinson, Jalen Wright, and Murphy all in one line.
Yeah, Jalen Carter, Miles Murphy, and Aiden Hutchinson, forget it.
Yeah.
That's scary.
So
Yeah,
give me those 3 dogs on
absolutely.
there against any offensive line. We're getting a few sacks a game.
Yeah, agreed. Just building the trenches, man, Detroit style.
Yep.
Which puts Addison on the board for
That
Tampa.
pisses me off because Miles Murphy was probably going to Tampa Bay.
Yeah,
if he
next
fell.
pick, yeah,
But
next pick.
instead, I'm looking at where they're at in the division right now. They've got the pieces where they're sort of forced to compete because of contract situations. I'm looking at a piece they lost. It revamped the defense with some people brought back again, like I brought up earlier, but I didn't think they were going to. But I'm gonna go Dalton Kincaid.
Oh, great pick, man. Great pick.
Give Baker another weapon. Like you said, best pass catching tight end in the draft.
Yep.
I mean, honestly, best case scenario, you hope to God. I mean, Travis Kelce, yes.
Mhm.
I mean, don't get me wrong, he ain't gonna get to that level because Travis Kelce, I mean, you never know. He's one of
It's
a kind,
unlikely,
you know what I
but-
mean?
right,
but
right. He's
in
a
a
freak.
way, poor man who could still be damn good,
Mhm.
Travis Kelce, Dalton Kincaid, just another weapon. Helps Baker have just enough out there to try to compete. Again, we brought up shitty division,
Yep.
allows them to compete. And if it's not Baker for the future, you have a tight end that you can go to. They lost Brait, so it's just Auden right now or whatever his name
Cade
is.
Auden.
Yeah, Cade Auden, and Dalton Kincaid will take that one spot.
Yes, he will, and he'll be dominant with whoever's throwing the ball.
Yeah.
He's a safety blanket for whatever quarterback's playing there.
Yeah,
That puts me on the clock with Seattle here at 20. They went with Will Anderson at 5, so defensive line looks a lot better. But I think I'm going to double dip on the defensive line. I think I'm going to go with Lucas Van Ness here. He's kind of a chess
Ooh.
piece defensive lineman, can play end, can play inside. He's very, very strong. He's very talented. I know it's weird because he wasn't technically a starter for Iowa, but he played more snaps than anyone else in defense.
Yeah.
So he was a full-time player.
Yeah, it's just they start seniors.
Right. They have to start the seat, which is just ridiculous, but whatever, their deal. So give me Lucas Van Ness. I'm classifying him as just a D lineman. Like I'm not marking him as an edge or a DT.
Yeah.
He can play anywhere on that defensive line. So you pair him and Will Anderson up together with the corners that they've got, man. I love that pairing in Seattle.
They go two offensive linemen rookie last year. Now he's some D linemen.
Two D linemen, right? Yep. And then 21, Colin, Chargers.
This is also kind of a luxury pick for them, even though this is their pick.
Right.
They didn't get gifted this pick. Jordan Addison, wide receiver. Go ahead and talk about a slot for the next 5 years until maybe you don't want to pay him or want to pay him.
Yeah.
Keenan Allen's getting up there. Maybe the best pure route runner in this draft, maybe.
I mean, best last name.
Yeah.
In the draft. I mean, gotta be up.
Wow. Man, I mean, 100%.
Gotta be up there.
Gotta be up there. Wow. Talk about a funny name.
Right.
Jordan Addison.
I know.
Wow.
Weird.
Wide receiver here.
Oh man, I'm a tomato.
That's a me. Yes, I love it. Sage, where does that leave you going with Baltimore at pick 22? Probably steals your guy there, honestly.
Yeah, honestly. No, I actually wasn't going Jordan Addison there. Jordan Addison, not big on my board right now. Not thinking about him too high. I'm looking at defense right now.
Really? Okay.
We usually go best player available, and I'm not telling you how I think, or I'm not telling you how I'm drafting. I'm telling you what the Ravens are going to do.
Oh, okay, sure.
Because this is just what they do. They pick the best player available, no matter what position it is, even if we need him or not, and we're gonna plug him in. So we're gonna select Brian Branch from Alabama.
Bitch.
Didn't test well, but dude knows how to move. He reminds me a lot of the Kyle Hamilton pick last year, where he slid because his athleticism wasn't crazy good.
Right.
But we need someone to guard that slot receiver. That's where we get torn up. I don't know if you saw that Miami game last year.
I did see that. I saw that a lot. I watched the highlights multiple times.
Yeah, I bet you did. But no, that's where we get torn up a lot, is that slot. And especially with Marcus Peters not being there, stuff like that. We just need to reload that right there. And he can also play safety. He could play nickel. He could play on the outside. He could play anywhere. He's a Swiss Army knife. So let's get him in there.
Yeah, it's a great pick.
And they love picking from Alabama. Ozzie Newsome, he's still in the exec office right now. He knows what he's doing.
I'm real surprised this pick wasn't Stetson Bennett, honestly. Probably go get him in the second round.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought about trading back. Maybe for him to
trade back into the first and get him at 31 or something.
There you go.
All right, Addison on the clock with Minnesota at pick number 23.
Minnesota here. And again, I brought it up when we were talking about our power rankings. And maybe I should have had Minnesota in my bottom 5 because I'm hoping they ship Kirk out of town.
Yeah.
And it's maybe who's quarterback. If it's Trey Lance and he sucks, it's not the worst case scenario. I'm not buying into the Hendon Hooker hype in the first round. If there is a team that's going to do it, though, it might be Minnesota, but that's not going to be here. It's going to be Deontay Banks,
Great pick.
corner from Maryland. They pretty much are blowing it up in weird spots in Minnesota, pieces at a time. But when you get out to the secondary, it always helps. The only question about Banks really is his health. But I mean, hey, Jalen Johnson had some shoulder issues coming out of college, and he's been a pretty good corner. So I mean, if he can stay healthy, he's going to be a damn good corner. Got size. He's physical. He's fast. I mean, he fits the mold of what an NFL corner is, and the Vikings will run away with that one.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, that makes my pick with Jackson. I mean, my pick with Jacksonville is already going to be tough because I just don't want to go with an edge rusher here. I just don't like it. But I may stick defensive line, and I think I'm going to. I think I'm going to take the Pittsburgh boy, Cal Kansey. There's no tight end left. I know the Jags are probably hoping someone like Kincaid or Mayers fall, and this way they don't. And I think this is just too early for Darnell Washington, as much as I love him as a prospect. And then you just look at the board, and they don't need a running back. They don't need a wide receiver. They're bringing in Calvin Ridley, like he's already there. He's going to be a part of the team, maybe corner, but I would have liked Deontay Banks there. I don't like Cam Smith as much. I don't like Emmanuel Forbes as much. So I just go ahead and I'll just take Cal Kansey, one of the best defense, like lightning fast defensive tackle. So I'll go with him at 24, putting Colin on the clock at pick 25 with the Giants.
Pick 25. I think they go somebody to complement the guy they just paid. I think they go receiver here. You talk about their lack of talent at that position. And in recent years, as a Cowboy fan, I've noticed the Giants don't like to get the go up and get it guy. They like to get the little speedy guy that can have a little bit in the route tree in and out. I think they go Zay Flowers here. I think they fall in love with
Yeah.
Zay Flowers over a guy like Hyatt or Johnston.
Very high on
I
Zay
think they
Flowers.
go Zay Flowers here in New York.
I'm so high on Zay Flowers, man. His combine numbers were crazy. His 10-yard split was 1.53 seconds,
Holy.
which is insane explosiveness, like absurd explosiveness. That's the elite category for the 10-yard split. I mean, how often the 40 yards great to see how fast guys can run straight, but how often do you have 40-yard straight line routes? You just don't.
Yeah.
You 10-yard outs, 10-yard quick routes, and he's one of the best at it. Big fan of Zay Flowers. That's a great pick for them. They desperately need it.
Absolutely.
Sage on the clock at pick 26 with the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, I mean, there's a few ways you can go with this. I mean, we're looking at tight end, but a few tight ends, they're just all over the board. You can probably pick one in the third round that's good enough to be first round talent in most drafts.
Yeah.
So I think they're just going they're just going to shore up some other players, some other options. So got the Cowboys going Keely Ringo, corner.
Ooh, Keely Ringo. Okay.
I think, hey, he's got a lot of just raw talent there with him. And with Dan Quinn, I think Dan Quinn of all places is going to be the guy to really make that guy like on the other side of
Gilmore
Trayvon
as
Diggs.
well. Yeah. Stephon
Lock
Diggs,
up.
they teach you how to do it, bud.
Yeah.
And hey, they need him especially for when they play Philly.
Yeah, no joke.
True. Very true. Can't have enough pass defensive players against them. Addison on the clock at pick 27 with Buffalo Bills.
I ain't sweating about Quiz.
No, I wouldn't sweat about Quez either.
Well, with the Bills, you brought up Darnell Washington, and I thought, man, that'd be interesting. Obviously, Dalton Knox, maybe go 2 tight end system. Don't know about all that. But I am going to take Jalen Hyatt, though.
Ooh, I
Pair
like
him
that.
up with the receivers there. Just don't really know what the Bills might do. I mean, Osiris Torrance, we
Weird.
talked about him a lot. But I think another weapon, just more high-powered offense, because you're going to need to score points in the AFC. And at the end of the day, Diggs is getting a little bit older. Gabe Davis's contract is coming eventually.
Yep.
So give me Jalen Hyatt.
Yeah, that's a great pick. I think he'll be really good there. Especially because didn't they just let Isaiah McKenzie go?
Yeah.
It's fun. Diggs is getting older. They're going to have to replace him.
Mhm.
And I think this guy does it very nicely. That's a good pick. All right. It puts me on the board for Cincinnati. And they need offensive line help. Not necessarily at guard, though. So what can I do here? Oh, I can give them somebody who is a great blocker and can also catch the ball and is a freak athlete in Darnell Washington.
Ooh.
He's a 6th offensive lineman every time he's on the field. They don't have a very, very good tight end on roster currently. Just another weapon for Cincinnati to play with. And this guy's a freak athlete. You saw it at the combine. Is he shifty? No. But is he going to jump over you and catch the ball? Yes, he is. And is he a fantastic blocker? Yes, he is.
Do you think Jahmyr Gibbs is even a
Yes, I think so. I think that's where I go back and forth is Jahmyr Gibbs, but teams just don't value the running back position at all.
I say they're obviously okay with Mixon being gone,
Right,
with everything going on.
right.
And they let P. Ryan walk, who was a huge part of
Huge
what they
part
were
of their
doing. So
offense.
clearly they
They
obviously
don't care
believe
for
that.
it much. I could definitely see Jahmyr Gibbs going at 28 here.
But,
I think
man,
I could see like a
Darnell.
Zach Charbonnet in the 2nd round. There's just the running back room's pretty deep in
I
this
was gonna
draft
say,
class.
and
they can get
Darnell's
one
a
late.
freak.
And Darnell's a freak athlete.
Freak,
They don't
yeah.
have like a good tight end
Yeah.
on either, and he can block really well.
Mhm.
So give me Darnell here. I hope they go Jahmyr Gibbs and not Darnell. I want Darnell to fall to 50.
I was gonna say if Darnell pans out there, that's scary.
Mhm.
Let's give Joe Burrow a 6'7" tight end.
That
can
is
also
faster
block.
than
Yeah.
everybody and can block like crazy. I mean, remember like a 4.40?
Yeah, it's
At
like,
6'8",
come on, man.
260. Are you
Yeah.
kidding me? Good luck.
Yeah.
Colin, pick 29. You've got the New Orleans Saints.
Yep, I think this is a spot. They lost a guy in free agency or they let him go.
Good.
Revamp for
Glad
that
to take
D
it.
line. It's gotta be Nolan Smith,
Has to
Edge,
be.
Georgia. Talk about a freak raw athlete.
Yeah.
Give this guy to the right defensive coach. Maybe Dennis Allen is that coach. And I think he'll be right there as well.
I wanted to take him because I thought he was too good to fall this far, but I just never had a pick where I was like, oh, this makes perfect sense. Because Jacksonville just took Trevon Walker last year. I couldn't
Right.
do it there.
I was scared you were gonna double up.
I thought-
defense, and I was like, oh, who am I gonna take then for next?
I just couldn't do it. So
Beautiful.
Sage, pick 30, Philadelphia Eagles, 2nd pick of the 1st round.
All right, this one right here is probably the bigger surprise of the Eagles picks. This is the reload pick. So we know Brandon Graham's not going to be there forever. I have them taking Adatimawa Adabawari,
Oh, Adebawari. Okay, I like that.
D lineman out of Northwestern, 6'2", almost 300 pounds. Dude just looks almost exactly like Brandon Graham playing.
Yeah.
And it's kind of wild to like when you watch them side by side, they have the same moves, same skill set coming out of the college. And I really think that he's just going to be one of those plug and play players, just like they did with Cam Jurgens. Hey, watch Kelsey for a year or two. Oh,
Yeah.
Kelsey's going to be gone. We're going to forget about him. Then all of a sudden, he's going to be the best center in the league.
Yeah.
So they're going to do that yet again.
Yep, just keep retooling. They're so annoying. God, Billy.
Yeah.
Addison,
Bunch of
last
dicks, truly.
yeah, honest to God. Last pick of the first round here, Super Bowl champion, Kansas City Chiefs.
Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs. Where's one of these receivers maybe fell a little bit farther?
I know.
something like that.
I said it. Please don't let Zay Flowers
I
go to
would say
Kansas City.
Kansas
'Cause
City.
it's over.
I
It's
might
over.
I should have been on the phone, maybe moving
Trading
up a little
up,
bit, because that's something
yeah,
they
really.
might do. But if they don't and they're sitting at 31 and this guy falls, and I'm gonna go Mozzie Smith out of Michigan,
Yeah,
defensive
yeah.
lineman, 6'3", 337, benched 34 reps when he has 33 and a 3/4 inch arms, most of any player in attendance.
God.
Absolute physical beast.
Yeah.
Michigan's D line was monstrous the last couple of years, and he's the reason why.
Mhm.
Chris Jones is getting up there in age. Now that he's going to be the exact replacement, but man, to help him there in Kansas City, just another piece on the line.
Yeah.
They'll be grinning. Mozzie Smith.
Man, that's a great pick. There's the second round is going to be
Yeah,
like
no.
some drafts first round talent wise.
Yeah.
Like the guys I still have left on my big board: Cam Smith. I've got Anton Harrison, offensive tackle, Jahmyr Gibbs, Quentin Johnston wasn't picked,
Yeah.
Brian Bresee, Osiris Torrance, Jack Campbell. I mean, my God, what a draft class.
And I went Mozzie over Brees just because the injuries.
Yeah, right,
Just because the
right.
injuries.
Bresee had a rough go.
Yeah, multiple ACL tears.
His sister died.
Sure, yeah.
He was
Yeah.
like, I mean, Dabo said he was the best player on the roster when he was a freshman. Like best, like I've seen his highlights of him as an offensive lineman.
Yeah.
Good luck. Like
Yeah.
he was a freak offensive lineman. Then he was a stud defensive tackle, and then he got hurt, and then he had a kidney infection, and his sister passed away from cancer at 16. I mean, the guy has just been beaten down. I'm really excited to watch him in the league because I think he could be a
Yeah.
force.
Mhm.
Someone's gonna be smiling if they
Someone's
draft
gonna
him
be
in a couple of
thrilled
years.
when they get him, and yeah, he's dominant. Yeah,
As
this,
bad as it sounds, I forgot what TV guy it was. Maybe it was a coach. He was like, "Oh, I want a certain guy from this, background." I forgot.
Oh, it was Dion.
It was
Talking
Deion.
about the
Oh,
O line
yeah.
and D line, saying O line, I want a 2-parent household.
Yes.
GPA and D line, I want 1 parent. I want single mom kids.
Yeah.
Straight
It's like
up
as bad as
said
it
that.
sounds, is like from my perspective, this is probably gonna sound terrible, but I think I'd rather have somebody who's faced that challenge and
Yeah.
adversity
yeah,
before they've gotten to the leagues. Like this guy can fucking handle it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
And maybe that's the extra motivation.
Based on
too, at
a
the end of
life's
the day.
hardest trials.
Right, and
You know what I
come
mean?
through
And NFL is a blink at that. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So you can handle that, you can handle the league.
who was it that was drafted and they kept talking about his mom being like a drug addict?
Yeah, I
Was it
remember
T.
that.
Higgins?
It might have been, but I
Might
can't
have been T.
remember that a
Higgins.
couple years
But like that
ago,
was like
yeah.
one of his bullet points. It was like
Yeah.
super
Yeah, it was T.
athletic.
It was,
It was
yeah.
like athletic, great hips. Mom's a drug addict.
Yeah, it's like, whoa.
They do that every draft.
Did that happen to
Bring
me?
some like heart-wrenching,
I know,
horrible
I know.
stories.
Don't get me wrong, it was a good thing, but like Mark Ingram when his dad's in prison and
Right.
we're like, we got him on the phone. And it's like, oh, obviously he's about to get emotional. You know what I
Right.
mean? He's talking to his dad he barely speaks to, he's in
Right.
prison. It's
Where's
like,
yeah.
him?
damn, man.
Josh Jacobs coming out. Everyone was like, he lived in a car for a year.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Yeah, that might be like this year's is just talking about Brian Bresee and everything he's gone through because
Yeah.
he's been given just a shit hand as
Yeah.
I think he was also like a #1 player in his class
Yeah.
Probably.
and was a stud there for a year and then all this shit happened. So draft's gonna be crazy, man. But I like the mock draft. We'll put out like what we think will happen with
Yeah.
each pick. Stay tuned for TikTok. We're gonna have so much stuff as we go to
Oh,
the
baby.
draft. We're detailing it. The videos start coming out at 4:30 a.m.
Yeah,
Thursday morning
seriously.
when I get up. My alarm goes off. I'm coming in everyone's room filming them, saying it's draft day, boys.